this clip is for the undergrads who want to start planning their career and start developing their skill sets that actually matter and make them employable. Fresh graduates who are kind of lost and do not know which industry they should step in, what kind of role they are most suitable for, where do they start? And also for young professionals who are looking for a career switch, what is work experience? Why do employers prefer somebody with work experience? Why do employers prefer somebody with more number of years of work experience when they're looking for somebody to promote somebody for a leadership position within the organization? Now, I have some good news and I have some bad news. The bad news is that there is no such thing as quick fix, but definitely there is a solution. Definitely you can develop and acquire the skill sets that experienced people have in comparatively shorter period of time and in a very smart manner. The good news is that there is a shift in the mentality and the mindset of employers. Now their priority is now no more work experience alone. They consider a lot of other things such as trainability. Somebody can be molded, somebody has the I would say the characteristics that they are looking for in a potential employee. So let's discover what is work experience, what's the difference between a person with experience and a fresh graduate, what are the pros and cons. If you're a fresh graduate, if you're somebody with a little work experience, how can you actually be competent in this highly competitive world? So stay tuned, live note coming up.
To the clip, we're talking about work experience. Let's use WE for work experience, and this can be understood at different phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Let's focus on phase 1 for today because it's understanding work experience from employer's perspective 101. Okay. Why is it important for the undergrads and for the fresh grads? And even for the young professionals who have a bit of work experience, if they're looking for a career switch or want to grow further in the companies they're working at. Now, generally speaking, work experience, the moment when people talk about work experience, a few things that will strike our minds would be, number one, the number of years that a person actually has worked. What kind of job scope? What was his job scope? Or what were his job scopes? Was he a job hopper or not? Chahi kya kuin thabak tawre ma company ma duda or company kya da thabak company pull up na total the number of years of work experience kya no hai. Number 2, the job scope at mana company ama da bot around gera ani da bot around gera mana tawru companies in the magi roles and responsibilities kai kai no hai basi ma khangning bagi job hopper or a pranata ba hai tar gadi. If you look at it, a lot of people cannot stick to one job for not more than 1 year. If you keep changing your from one job to another, one company another, if you keep jumping, that makes you a job hopper, which is really not a good thing in the eyes of the interviewer. Right. From the perspectives of the employers, these are 3 of the many things that they're looking for when it comes to work experience, right? So that's one thing. Now, why is it important for the undergrads and the fresh grads to understand this? I'm so sorry for the bad handwriting because I'm trying to balance my hand. I'm not used to writing on a tablet. But anyway, why is it understand for you guys, especially you and you, to understand all these sort of things? What you're going to understand, number one thing is that, guys, number one, number of years of chahi kya kuin thabak tawre is important oidaba natte. But this may be time, this may be your work experience, right? So as you know, your work experience keeps increasing as time increases, right? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year. This is important, no doubt. But what's more important is that no matter how long or how short your work experience is, like let's say if you have 1 year of work experience or you have 5 years of work experience, what is more important is that in that 1 year, what was the value that you've added to to the company you work with? 5 years, what were the values that you added to the companies or company you worked with? Now, a lot of people misunderstand this, right? And the question is that 5 years the company value add taurambadubo aina kamaina 1 year the ngamgadoina. Valid question. But again, how come that there are so many, let's say example, 30-year-olds who actually are holding leading positions in major MNCs, and people who work under them could range all the way from 25 years old to even 50 plus years old. How come he's leading people who are above 30 plus years? Ask yourself that question, right? So it's about the value that you can actually produce. So undergraduates and fresh graduates, when you think about this, right, don't be overwhelmed by the fact that you have zero experience, right? Don't pull yourself down by thinking that how am I going to have my big start? There's no such thing as a big start in the first place. You can escalate your way to your big start, but you can never start big, right? You can't start big, but good news is that you can create a launch pad for yourself. How do you do that? Work in life projects. Life projects, for undergraduates, don't tell me that you don't have 2 hours a day to spare, for your future. Don't tell me you can't invest 2 hours a day for your future. Don't tell me it's not possible. All right. So try to invest 2 hours of your day at least, or even at the minimum, invest 1 hour of your day on trying to learning some skills. Go and wherever there is an opportunity, get yourselves enrolled in part-time opportunities. This is not just for money, but this is for you to understand what working is like. How is it different from your usual college lives? How is it different from the tasks that you perform at colleges when you perform a task that's actually related to a real business? Now, as you continue trying to finish your graduation, imagine you are at 2nd SEM. By the end of 6th SEM, even though you haven't had like a full-time FT or full-time hires work experience, when you go out to the market and go for interviews in the job market, you will have that competitive edge. Why? Because a lot of people like you, fresh grads like you, will be coming to apply for that role. Now, what's the difference between you and them is only one thing. Maybe there might be a couple of them whose percentile is higher, 90% above, but they might come with zero part-time experience, zero skills that employers are looking for. Now, you might have 65%. I'll be honest, man. In all honesty, I would go for the person with 65 percentile, and because he does come with skills that there are actually money-making skills. Because I'm hiring you to grow my company. I'm not hiring you for fun. And you also come with a little bit of work experience, which tells me that you are sort of mature and you have that amount of maturity to enter a workplace, and you understand, and you might have the capacity to understand what an organizational culture is. Right. Really, the handwriting is bad. I'm trying my best. I'm so sorry about this. Anyway, for the fresh grads, okay, let's imagine you are a fresh grad who did not invest on yourselves throughout the semesters, on any skill sets, any sort of part-time experience, whether it's going to be offline or online. Let's just say that you're out there in the market at 70%. Let's say you are a BBA student, quite fairly good college, but everything apart from your studies, you are zero. Are you too late? Trust me, you're not. Trust me, you're not. In this case, think about entering a company wherein you can learn the most. Look, my answers do not have to be exactly the only correct answers, right? There are so many ways to make you understand work experience, but I'm just trying to simplify things as much as possible, right? So try to look forward to working in a company where you can learn the most. And a lot of us make the mistake of starting a career in very big companies with huge number of headcount, right? No, it's not bad at all. If you get a sort of good profile in MNC as a start, it's really good. But if you're looking to really learn, right, try to go and work with reputable but smaller companies. Because what's going to happen is that because the number of people working there are actually very less, the management team will distribute different kinds of roles to each and every individual, as opposed to MNCs wherein you are stuck with one role because there are so many people who are already there to perform different roles. For example, there are sales team, dedicated marketing team, dedicated HR team, dedicated finance team, admin, operations, so on and so forth. But in SME, what happens is that one person could be performing multiple roles. Somebody could be doing sales and marketing plus operations. Somebody could be doing admin, finance. So imagine if you're somebody who who wants to have an option for your career, open to maybe sales career, marketing career, operations career. Imagine joining an SME like this and joining an MNC for a start. You start with just one domain. Now, if you want to grow further, you would have learned more here. Because again, in SME, the challenges are typically higher, right? And when you, after earning some experience, and trust me, do not work with a company less than 2 years. Do not do the mistake of quitting your job in your first 2 years, especially when it's your first job, right? Because when you try to move on to the next company, this matters a lot. And this is one of the reasons why entrepreneurs, business owners, including myself, this is what scares us about hiring fresh graduates, because we feel that you would eventually become a job hopper, and we don't want to work with job hoppers. All right. So when you work here, 2 years work, understand a bit of sales, understand a bit of marketing, understand a bit of operations, whatever multitasking you have to do. And eventually when you go to an MNC or the MNC job market, you have already opened up three different categories of job opportunities. Okay, so for the fresh graduates, don't worry, take it slow, get a job, start, don't expect a big start, try to get into a good SME where your learning curve would be really good, and dedicate 2 years of your time, be patient, and after that, try to think about moving up for bigger job opportunities, JO job opportunities. What about the young professionals? For the young professionals, let's say you have work experience of 2 to 3 years, right? Now, you already have, I would say, I'm not trying to mean it in a negative sense, but you already have your emotional baggages from your previous work experience, depending on how your experience was with different companies or the company. you already are used to a certain sort of a culture, a work culture, some sort of processes of doing things, right? Now, your biggest challenge when you're trying to switch to another company or bigger opportunity is that you've got to get rid of your emotional baggages. Because with the emotional baggages, you're going to start forming judgments when you're exposed to some sort of a similar situation when you join this new company. And it's not easy to get rid of this emotional baggages. Now, the culture, because 2 to 3 years, in fact, is a long period of time when you are stuck with one culture or two cultures. And you get automatically engineered to work in that kind of culture. Now, you're going to go to another company which could be different by 50%, 25 to 50% or even 70% in terms of culture. Now, adjusting to the new culture, again, it's not easy. Now, the processes. Now, let's say in your previous company, the sales process was very, I would say, straightforward and simple. You get in touch and you were selling a product, let's say, tangible with a Portama. You go to the, let's say, the retail outlets, put your product there, sell it to the retailers, that's about it. And after that, another person follows up with the retailer. So let's say your sales process was like this, and this is something that you've been in for 2 to 3 years. Now, so you're so used to it because your role was not like an end-to-end sales. Now, in this new company, you're required to do end-to-end sales. You're not gonna feel uncomfortable, and this might kind of make you feel a little bit nervous as well. And many other processes in terms of internal communication and reporting structure could be really different. So, young professionals, you got to understand, you need to sacrifice. You need to sacrifice if you're looking for a switch. For a young professional, let's say with 2 to 3 years of work experience, your previous experience may be management experience, and let's say you were drawing, I would say, example, 38 INR rupees per month, and now you really want to switch because of XYZ reasons. Now, in this new company is giving you a much better job opportunity, right? But it's not a manager position, it's a junior executive, and most probably you're going to report to somebody who is junior to you. But this company, being a bigger company, has a proper growth path for you, and they're ready to offer you more. Right, they're ready to offer you 45. Sorry, not 45. They're ready to match your salary of 1,000 rupees INR per month. Now, deep down inside, you know very well that this will be the right choice for your future growth, for job satisfaction. But now you are pulled back because of two things. Number one, you have to step down. Number two, they're giving you the same salary for a junior position. Mind you, young professionals, in life, stepping down is important. Sometimes you need to step down because you can catapult yourself to a point that's much more higher than where you were previously. And when being offered on same salary, and if salary is your deciding factor when switching to a better career, then you are going in a very wrong direction. That's not the right thought process. You got to think about, well, even though if I have to start at a junior executive position, even though I have to start at the same salary package, how can I utilize my potential and the company's ability to help myself catapult within maximum of 6 months' time to a position which is much higher than before. You add the value first. If you want something, you got to sacrifice. Young professionals. I interview a lot of young professionals who've had senior positions, and when you really offer them positions that could be slightly lower in terms of position, they kind of back off. They're not ready to take up the challenge to start off at the same salary package as it was before, or maybe even slightly lower. So you got to understand, young professionals, you got to step out of this mentality. Okay, these are some of the from perspective of an employer, whether you are a young professional, whether you're a fresh graduate, whether you are an undergraduate, these are some of the things that employers always keep in mind when it comes to work experience. Now, what you got to showcase instead of your number of years of work experience, nangi job scope, roles and responsibilities kai oirami, haibado aduga nangna commitment level leitaba haiba mi oi haiba oiba oidaba haibdo aduda gena important oibadi you need what you need to showcase is your attitude. And your mindset, your attitude and your mindset. A new company, right, and a new employer, he doesn't know you, he hasn't worked with you. The previous companies know you very well, the way you work, they're able to adjust your working style as well because, they've spent some time with them. And for the fresh graduates, you don't have experience, they don't know you, you're literally zero. So you got to showcase the right attitude and mindset, especially when you, open-mindedness, that you have an open mind towards learning, towards adapting or adjusting to the processes and culture, right? You got to show that you are not a defensive person. We will talk in details about each of the things the next time, right? That you can resolve conflicts because at workplace, yanadaba is mi ani di marak or group mi ani humgi group ki marak the adum conflicts is talk to learn a different departments, and this is a big problem for the senior management team, and they really dislike all sorts of things. So conflicts talk the resolution tawamba problem solve tawangamba, that you are not a NATO. What does NATO mean? No action, talk only, not the habits. Mainly, this is what you should highlight on. Of course, backed up by examples. Exemplify why you have the right mindset. Exemplify how you were able to resolve conflicts and problems. Exemplify how you are not a NATO. No action, talk only, guys. Alright, guys, that's about it. Otherwise, it's going to be very long. Thank you.